Welcome to Informatica University Success Academy. Axon Data Governance. Default workflows. Workflows in Axon are used to define the steps that should be taken when change requests are raised on objects in Axon. They define the people that should be notified and involved in the change request, the tasks that should be performed, and the decisions that should be made. There are two types of workflows: custom workflows and default workflows. Custom workflows are workflows created for a particular object, such as an individual process, and define the steps that should be followed when raising a change request on that object. Default workflows are created in the admin panel under Data Governance Operating Model, Default Workflows. They are created by a super admin user and can be applied to all objects on the inventory on which they are created. Once defined, they are created in the same way as custom workflows. Change requests can be raised by any user in the same way for all objects. We will take a look at the differences between a custom and a default workflow. To save time, I have configured the following. I have created a custom workflow on the KYC or Know Your Client process shown here. This workflow is created solely for this process and will guide users through the steps defined for making changes to the KYC process. In the admin panel, under Data Governance Operating Model, Default Workflows, I have created a default workflow that can be applied to all change requests for all of the data sets. We can see this workflow has been created in the same way that the custom workflow has been created. Only in this example, it will be available to all dataset objects. I have configured John Admin as a stakeholder on some datasets and also some processes, as well as the KYC process. If we take a look at the change request inventory, we can see that there are multiple change requests that have been raised to both datasets and processes. They have not yet been started. If we go to the workflow notifications for John Admin, we can see that he has received notifications for these change requests, and we know that he has been defined a stakeholder role on these. If we take a look at the change requests that have been raised on the data sets first of all, I'm going to right-click and choose to open the link, and I'll do that for both of the change requests. So these are two completely different change requests that have been raised onto totally separate data sets. If I scroll down, I can choose to apply this workflow, which is the default workflow that we created in the admin panel. And I can apply the dataset change control management process workflow to this change request. And I can press start. If I go to the second example, which is another change request that has been raised on another separate data set, if I scroll down, I can see that I can apply the same workflow to this change request because it is a default workflow that is available for all data sets. However, if we take a look at the KYC change request that was raised, and I'm going to access it through the workflow notifications. So this is the change request that was raised to update the KYC process with new initiatives. If I scroll down and choose workflow, I can see that there is a workflow available for this process, and that is the request to update the KYC process. This is a custom workflow, so it's available only for this particular process. If I go to take a look at the last workflow notification, and this is the final one, a change request has been raised by John against the process item. So if we click on this, so this is another change request raised on a process. However, if I go down and choose from workflows, I can see that currently I don't actually have any workflows that I can apply to this change request. And that is because the workflow that was available for the KYC process was a custom workflow created specifically for that process and is not available to other processes. We can see from this the difference between custom and default workflows.